Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gents Scents. Hope that you guys have been doing really well. Please forgive my appearance. I've just been hanging out today, so I'm just rocking this Tommy Bahama hat that I found for like $9. So I got in a package earlier today, got in 2 new fragrances that I bought. One of them is the fragrance that we're going to be talking about today, Fort & Manle Late Harvest. Been giving this some wear today, so I'm going to do some quick first impressions for you guys. The other fragrance that I pulled the trigger on was Ganymede. So I got myself a nice full-size bottle of that. Don't have to mess around with my dinky decant anymore. This one cost me $250 US, and that is for a 50 ml size bottle. Not cheap. If you want 100 milliliters of this, that would be, $500. Oh, that hurts. And this one was a blind buy. I did not try this out beforehand. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys the presentation, which has changed from their previous bottle style, and talk about the scent a little bit. Let's check it out. Now, as I said, this was a blind buy. Didn't know anything about this other than what I saw on Fragrantica of all places. I actually pulled up Fragrantica, and this one was on there under their new releases, like new and noteworthy or whatever it says. And I saw the bottle style and I was like, what happened there? That's different. So this is how the old bottle style looked, and I really liked them a lot. They're pretty simple. I think this is a stock bottle that they just have painted over, but then these plaques on the front look fantastic. I always love those. And they were nice. I mean, they were definitely distinctive. When you saw these bottles, you knew exactly what it was. But let's go ahead and take a look at the new presentation so you can see how it looks now. So the first thing that you'll see if you ever get one of these new Fort & Manle's in is this outer box, this outer shell. And it has this sticker on the front that looks like a wax seal. I just peeled the sticker off and then stuck it down a little bit lower. I think it looks really nice. You have the name of the fragrance, you have the size and concentration on the front, and on the back you have some ingredient info. And then within that slipcover will be this box. It has a little pull tab at the top so you can pull it out easier from the little slipcover, and then another pull tab on the side. It says the name of the house on the front there, Fort & Manle. When you pull that little tab, you can see that the bottle sits down in this little foam cutout. And here is the bottle. Now, at first, I wasn't sure if I liked this more or less than the old style. I was kind of going back and forth, back and forth. I think I like this new one more. And that's a little sacrilegious for me to say because it doesn't have the plaque on the front that I love so much. But I love the throwback look of this thing. Just really beautiful. In a way, it almost looks like the old cigar wrappings, like the little paper that would go around a cigar. So on the front, you have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, size and concentration. The cap slides into place, and it is a heavy-duty cap. It has quite a lot of heft to it. There's nothing on the bottom or the back, no stickers or badge codes that I can see. And I'll go ahead and waste a couple sprays for you guys. Let me grab a tester strip. All right, here we go. Not too bad. Woo! It smells different off a tester strip. What? Definitely test this one off skin, not just a tester strip if you ever see this anywhere and you're shopping around, because off a strip, it has more of like a cigarette smell to it, almost like a lightly cherry tinged cigarette, but off skin, it's quite a bit different. So as I said, I was poking around on Fragrantica. I saw the different bottle style. I was intrigued. I clicked into it, saw the note breakdown. Then I thought, we're gonna have to buy that. Yeah. Now, why is that? Well, because Fort & Manle is a fragrance house that I really like. I think that they do cool weather fragrances very well. And this one is a cherry pipe tobacco scent that also has vanilla and leather. There's also cedarwood, rosewood, and rose as some of the other notes in the fragrance. As far as the fragrance note breakdown goes, they keep it pretty simple. So I said, heck with it, let's go ahead and buy it. I kicked $250 over to Lucky Scent. I actually reached out to Lucky Scent. I asked if they had any kind of affiliate program that I could use, and they responded with basically nothing. They just ignored me, actually. Actually, they responded and didn't realize that they had left me on copy, and let's just leave it there, I guess. Yeah. Thanks, Lucky Scent. So, Late Harvest. How does this one smell? Well, interestingly enough, when you smell it from the atomizer, it's got this really wonderful, sweet pipe tobacco scent profile. The cherry, very prominent, very fruity. And that's the first thing I noticed. I took it off, hadn't even sprayed it. Gave it a whiff, and I knew immediately, oh, I'm gonna love this. This is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna go straight toward the top of my tobacco scents. Then I sprayed it on my skin, and I thought, that is not at all what it smells like from the atomizer. That's completely different. What is going on here? So yeah, when you first spray this one on, it's not quite as fruity, not quite as sweet as you might expect. It actually has this old world woodiness to it. So what I mean by that is the wood has like an age to it, like you can smell it physically. I mean, the wood has this almost ancient feeling to it. It's reminiscent slightly of an old antique store. So you go to downtown, wherever, some old town USA downtown, you go into a building that's been standing there for over 100 years. I know in the US, that's like old. In Europe, over 100 years, you go, what? But in the US, you say, oh, building from like the late 1800s or early 1900s or something. You go into said building and they have the antiques everywhere and this old wooden smell that's almost crept into everything in that building. If you've ever been into a store like that or a building like that, then you know what I'm talking about. You walk in and it's like it's permeated everything. It's like a much more enjoyable version of what happens with a smoker's home, where you go into a house where somebody smokes, and that smell of cigarette smoke has woven its way through literally every single crevice in that house, to the point that you can take paint chippings off the wall and smell the paint and it will smell like cigarettes. The wood in here is a little bit like that wood that you'll find in an old building, and I love it. But it is not going to be for everybody. The opening to this fragrance is much less immediately mass appealing than I thought it was going to be. The rose you pick up faintly, it's kind of working its way through all the other notes and accords, trying to make itself known, but it's never the focal point of the fragrance. It's just there and kind of fades into the crowd sometimes. Maybe a faint waft of a green tinge now and again as well along the edges of the scent. And the tobacco leaf here has great nuance, great depth. The tobacco leaf is both at times very sweet and fruity, especially as it dries down. Now in the opening it is not, but as it dries it becomes much sweeter. So you have this sweet pipe tobacco, exactly like they describe it, cherry pipe tobacco. But then other times, that little green tinge that I talked about, you get almost a green tobacco leaf, like a full leaf as well. So the tobacco here is fleshed out in both of those ways, and you can pick it up in varying forms and facets as it dries. The vanilla, of course, combining together with the tobacco as it dries down through the mid and dry down more specifically, give it even more sweetness and depth. So it's very interesting to me. It almost plays out in reverse of how I thought it would play out. When I first spray it on, I get more of the woodiness. I get more of that tobacco leaf that has almost a slight green tinge to it. Then as it dries down, I get more of the sweetness and the pipe tobacco and the cherry and the vanilla. Whereas I would have thought that it would have been reversed. And when I first sprayed it on, I would get that big blast of super sweet tobacco. And then once it hit the full dry down, it'd be more woody and heavy. Now I will say that old wood quality in the opening doesn't really persist through the mid into the dry down. And in the dry down, you can still pick up some woodiness. It's just not the same style or scent profile. It focuses more on that sweetness from the mid on into the dry down. So initially when I first sprayed this on, I thought, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. Could be a bit of a miss here. I could have screwed this blind buy up. It changed dramatically as it dried on my skin, and I love it for that. Because now I have this opening that has more of an artistic flair, something a little bit more interesting for me to smell. And then as it dries down, you get that mass appeal, you get that tobacco leaf that you were expecting from the note breakdown. And so for me, it's this great meeting of two worlds to an extent. Now, I absolutely think there will be people out there that don't like that opening very much. And there may be people that think that once this settles in and it's more vanilla and cherry pipe tobacco with bits of woodiness underneath, that it's not maybe unique enough, because there are a number of tobacco scents out there. So like with all fragrances, some people it may not work for, but for me, I think this is a great release. And I put this right up there with my favorite Fort and Manle fragrances, period. might actually be my favorite. And I'm very thankful that it does not smell on skin like it does off a tester strip, because if it smelled like cigarette, I wouldn't really like that. Yeah, off a tester strip, honestly, it's not that great. This is one that you need to wear on skin. Performance-wise, it seems pretty good. I just have worn it today, so I can't really give you a great breakdown there. I guess I would say longevity, it would appear to be above average. It stayed on my skin really well. It's lingered throughout the day. I've been able to pick it up. Projection is strong initially, and then starts to settle in once it hits the mid and becomes more of an average projecting scent. Maybe not quite as strong as you would expect with the note breakdown and the coloration of the fragrance on the inside there, but definitely good enough that I have no complaints. Gonna be more of a fall and winter time fragrance, so it doesn't really match the season for me right now in the Northern Hemisphere. And as far as daytime, nighttime use, either one probably leans nighttime. So there we go, Fort and Manle Late Harvest. This one, a big love of mine. Very excited to have this. Can't wait until fall. I'm gonna bust this out more. And the name is perfect for fall, Late Harvest. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me today. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you again with another fragrance video another time. See you guys.